Evacuation of trapped victims of the Maiduguri flood continues as Nigeria Air Force exterminates illegal refining sites in Rivers State. You're welcome to Panorama on the network service of the NTA, and we are live in Abuja. I am Ogochkuka Ona. More trapped victims of the flood in Maiduguri are being evacuated as the flood continues to recede. Correspondent Ilyasu Yakubu reports that the trapped victims in their numbers were seen coming out of the flooded areas. The full report will come up in our subsequent bulletins. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari, I'm trying to go back to history, but it's okay. It's President Bola Tinubu was in Maiduguri and pledged more strategic assistance from the federal government to assuage the effects of the recent flood in Maiduguri and its environs. The president sympathized with people of the state over the disaster that has displaced thousands of residents. He suggested a national disaster relief fund to cater for victims of such situations in Nigeria. State House correspondent Musbao Dan Wahab reports.
President Bola Tinubu returned from his trips to China and the UK Sunday night. Just a few hours after his return, the president would fulfill a sense of responsibility as he proceeded to Maiduguri to see the devastating consequences of the flood stifling the rejuvenating peace of the home of peace. Though the waters have largely receded, those who suffered the effect are yet to overcome, as President Tinubu visited one of the camps housing those displaced by the disaster. They clearly felt the sense of compassion of the president. President Tinubu proceeded to the palace of Shehu of Borno, which was also overtaken by the floods. Not only has the state not witnessed flood of this magnitude, the disaster has equally truncated the rebuilding process of a state just recovering from the devastation of years of insurgency. And the traditional ruler, who appreciated the concern and support of the president, has a plea to the federal government.
My request to you is one, that is, to find out the root cause of this bleeding and address appropriately so as to avoid future occurrence, as over 80% of this town has been affected by this disaster.
The magnitude of the damage we have, as it has been said by His Royal Highness, the Shehu of Borno, we want you to look into the possibility of reconstructing this dam with new hydraulic structures that can handle natural flow of water.
President Tinubu sympathized with the people of the state, and particularly those who have suffered varying degrees of losses to the disaster. For him, the Maiduguri experience is of national concern and will be treated as such.
We, as a government, as Nigerian people, who pledge with you that we will help in the rehabilitation and resolution of problems there. It is our problem, not just your problem, not the problem of community alone.
At the Borno State Government House, President Tinubu commended the commitment and leadership quality of Governor Babagana Umar Zulum and appreciated the support of various bodies, including members of the Governors Forum and donors.
For the people of Borno, Yobe, and other affected states, I say we will put together a very good program for Nigeria to recover from this calamity and do better in the interest of our people. I've been thinking of how do we tackle this kind of a problem, whether it's climate change or any other means. But there must be a disaster relief fund for the victims.
The president is back in the nation's capital after the one-day visit to Maiduguri. In Abuja, Musbao, then Wahab, NTA News.
In the meantime, Borno State Governor Babagana Umara Zulum has expressed gratitude to the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, for the consistent support to victims of floods in the state. This was while inspecting food distribution at the internally displaced persons camps. Correspondent Ilyasu Yakubu again reports that the agency's Director General, Zubaida Umar, was in the governor's entourage.
The deployment of resources for evacuation, search and rescue mission, as well as provision of food and non-food items to victims of flood disaster in Maiduguri by the National Emergency Management Agency has been described as unprecedented. Experts say this level of commitment must be sustained and improved upon for the well-being of all Nigerians. Governor Zulum said with the volume of intervention work done by NEMA for the upkeep of disaster victims across the country, it is obvious that the agency is overwhelmed and therefore appeal.
NEMA is overwhelmed, and therefore I'm also pleading on behalf of the National Emergency Management Agency to the federal government in order to provide additional support for them so that they can carry out their functions diligently.
NTA News investigation revealed that the flood waters are gradually receding and the victims are beginning to pick up the pieces of their lives. From Maiduguri, Ilyasu Yakubu, NTA News.
The air component of Operation Delta Safe has executed air interdiction missions in Rivers State as part of its intensified efforts to curb crude oil theft, pipeline vandalism, and economic sabotage in the Niger Delta. Deputy Director, Public Relations and Information, Group Captain Kabiru Ali indicates that the two separate missions targeted specific sites along the Imo River, including Owaza, Uzaku, Obuzo, Uswaku, and Obiaku. The aircrew proceeded to conduct armed reconnaissance mission in Owaza and Uzaku, during which they identified an active illegal refining site at Uzaku and immediately engaged, resulting in the destruction of 4 tanks and 2 canoes. The second mission originally was intended to support troops northwest of Umuahia, but adverse weather conditions forced the crew to divert and conducted further air reconnaissance around the Obuzo section of the Imo River, thereby destroying 12 tanks along with several jerrycans and other equipment used by criminals around Waza, Obuzo, Uswaku, and Obiaku. The NAF states it will continue to conduct air operations against the activities of oil thieves and other criminals in the Niger Delta and in support ground forces across the region. Citizens are called on to key into the efforts of security agencies to deter the activities of these economic saboteurs with a view to checking their activities. The Defense Headquarters reacts to a video in circulation alleging unjust incarceration of a naval rating seaman Abbas Haruna for 6 years. In a statement, the Defense Headquarters assures the public that the Armed Forces of Nigeria remains committed to upholding justice, fairness, and the rule of law, noting that the military court-martial process, though meticulous, ensures fairness, equal opportunity, and justice in accordance with established military procedures and the law. In response to this allegation, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, has directed an immediate investigation into the matter, and the outcome will be made public in due course. The DHQ urges the general public to exercise caution and refrain from spreading unsubstantiated information while investigation is ongoing. Now, data from the National Bureau of Statistics reveal that Nigeria's inflation rate has dropped for the second straight month this year to 32.15%. Muplan Dakok has details.
Nigeria's headline inflation rate dropped for the second consecutive month to 32.15% in August 2024 from the July 2024 inflation rate of 33.40%. The data from the National Bureau of Statistics shows that the headline inflation rate for August decreased by 1.25% when compared to the rate in July 2024. Urban inflation rate was 34.58% on year-on-year basis. Rural inflation rate was 29.95% on year-on-year basis. Food inflation rate in the month was 37.52% on a year-on-year basis. The NBS report shows that the rise in food inflation on a year-on-year basis was caused by increases in the prices of bread, maize, grains, guinea corn, yam, Irish potatoes, palm oil, vegetables, and beverages, among others. Sokoto State led as the state with the highest food inflation rate of 46.98%, and Bayelsa State recorded the slowest inflation rate.
And Panorama returns after these messages. The Nigerian government is set to launch a comprehensive strategy to position the country as a leading player in the halal economy, targeting $1.5 billion GDP through strategic initiatives by 2027. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Communications, Office of the Vice President, Stanley Kwocha, says the project is part of initiatives to diversify the economy and tap into the burgeoning global halal markets, products and services that meet Islamic standards of permissibility and embodies ethics, integrity and universal values that resonates across cultures and regions. The success of Sukuk bonds and the growing appeal of Islamic banking demonstrate that halal principles are compatible with global economic standards and can benefit all Nigerians. The strategic focus on the halal economy hopefully will open up new avenues for Nigerian businesses to compete on the global stage. And now Nigeria's creative sector is a powerful engine for economic growth that is yet to be tapped, and creators of performing arts and cultural heritage in the country are calling for a marriage with the private sector to take the industry to the next level. Larry Belay says these creators are ready to walk the talk.
Nigerian arts, culture, and creative industry is one of the new frontiers of generating massive economic gains in the nation's diversification drive. Yet, it remains uncharted. Ancient spectrum of impressive arts and cultural heritage turning into creative industries are of immense economic benefit to the government at the federal, state, and communities, creating jobs and attracting investment.
We are not going to expect government to do everything. It doesn't quite work that way. But what we need to do is to make the private sector begin to see the creative industry as a money make, as serious business, because that is what it is.
We are basically importing everything and we barely export anything but oil. Now, the creative sector is an export product, no doubt about that. When you think about the remittances, you're talking about a $5 billion economy per year. Imagine if you can expand that capacity for us to get more payments and to export more products from fashion, from our food, from our brands.
Taking a look at animation, for instance, Nigerian animators project this sector of creative industry will be worth about $600 million in the next 5 years and has the capacity to take in a large youthful workforce.
Nigeria has the youngest population in the world. Or Africa has the youngest population in the world. Nigeria, obviously, with the population it has. And one of the things we're trying to get young people to do is to get into animation early, because they would make the workforce of the future.
These professionals in the creative industry are convinced that government only needs to give a nudge by providing the right environment and watch the industry grow beyond their expectations. In Lagos, Lanre Bilayi, NTA News.
Apart from heightening surveillance in search of smuggled goods, the Joint Border Patrol Team Sector 2 Southwest Zone says its interventionist role in arresting illegal migrants is to check individuals that may threaten national security. The coordinator of the team, Mohammed Shaibu, while outlining recent efforts of the unit, pointed to the rescue of 18 victims of human trafficking as one of the many success stories justifying its operations. Michael Olaleye reports.
Keeping vigil across the borderline, the team confirmed could be tedious, but the zeal to fulfill its constitutional mandate has been the motivation. In the third quarter of the year, the coordinator said 156 illegal migrants were arrested.
11 persons refused departure, 18 trafficked in person, and 2 suspected trafficking agents who violated immigration laws and were immediately handed over to the Nigerian Immigration Service for further investigation and prosecution.
The smuggling of petrol and rice is a common practice within the team's area of responsibility, and within the period under review, goods with duty-paid value of 1.4 billion naira were seized. The solace for the team is not just found in raising demand notices of more than 25 million naira, but carrying out its operations devoid of casualty.
These groups of unpatriotic citizens will help us to contend with, as the sector has deployed intelligence to apprehend offenders. The sector is fully prepared to face the challenge ahead as we are into the last quarter of the year.
While the Joint Border Patrol Team Section 2 Southwest Zone promised to enhance collaboration and intelligence gathering, it is calling on communities around the border to sensitize their subjects on the dangers of smuggling. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NTA News.
From Lagos, we move to Jigawa, where the State Executive Council has approved the award of 48 roads of 835 kilometers across the 3 senatorial districts of the state. Briefing newsmen on the outcome of the State Executive Council's meeting, the Commissioners for Information, Works and Health say 316 billion naira has been approved for construction of roads and health facilities in the state. Muhammad Musa Askira has details.
48 roads were equally distributed among all the components of the state across the 3 senatorial districts. This is to provide access roads to farming communities, hospitals and educational facilities to connect cities and communities together for socio-economic developments in the state. The 48 roads comprise of 835 kilometers would be awarded at the cost of 300 billion naira, of which 10% mobilization fee amounted to 30 billion naira has been paid for immediate commencement of the construction work.
The PDA roads, we have said, then the new construction, then the township, and then the upgrading of this road are the cumulative number of kilometers that we said we are going to construct 835 kilometers in this 2024 budget by the grace of God, inshallah.
The construction of these roads would be completed between 6 months and 18 months. In Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
And from Yola comes a report that 1,000 bags of fertilizer and cash donation have been distributed to some APC members and individuals in Adamawa State. The gesture is by Senator Aishatu Dahiru Ahmed Binani to enhance agricultural production in the state. Yusuf Jika reports.
The APC governorship candidate in the 2023 election in Adamawa State, Senator Aishatu Dahiru Ahmed Binani, has been supporting APC members, groups and individuals in Adamawa State through various empowerment initiatives, as well as free distribution of food items and fertilizer to improve their livelihood. The recent distribution of 1,000 bags of fertilizer and cash donation to APC members and individuals by Senator Binani includes 430 delegates who ensure her victory during the APC primary election in Yola. Senator Aishatu Dahiru Ahmed Binani says the gesture is to ensure food security and improve livelihood of people in Adamawa State.
I have a strong feeling that, inshallah, God will not leave us just like that. We have fought our battle and we have left the rest to Him.
Some of the beneficiaries see the provision of fertilizer will assist them to have a bumper harvest.
We are thanking her very much I will use the fertilizer in my farm. Thank you so much.
It will help them in so many ways.
In Yola, Yusuf Jika, NTA News.
Let's join Olumide Eguntola for stories trending in the sporting world.
A seminar to produce qualified fitness trainer for Nigeria is underway at the Association of National Olympic Committees in Africa, ANOCA Secretariat in Abuja Tuesday. 35 fitness trainers and participants drawn from states of the Federation are cross-fertilizing ideas at a training anchored by a group of professionals including Dr. Adebukola Bojuwoye, an expert in sports and exercise medicine. The training organized by the Nigerian Olympic Committee (NOC) and Sport for All Commission ends on Friday. In basketball, Nigeria's representative to the FIBA Under-18 Afrobasket Championship, the Junior D Tigers and D Tigers, are back in the country from South Africa. The Junior D Tigers picked one of the tickets for the FIBA Under-19 World Cup scheduled for Czech Republic next year, despite losing the final gold medal match to Mali. The Nigerian girls who qualified for the World Cup after a semi-final victory over Uganda are hoping for adequate preparations ahead of the World Cup Championship next year.
We really want to bring this cup home. We said that we are qualified, both still qualified, but we want to bring the trophy home. But it's okay. At least next time we plan well. Come around, I think at least 3 months we should be camp. Looking for players, trying to get ourselves together.
In football, Enyimba Football Club of Aba has set their eyes on securing a crucial victory in the second leg tie of the CAF Confederations Cup against Etoile Filante of Burkina Faso. Enyimba's coach Yemi Olanrewaju expressed hope of winning the second leg in Nigeria after his team put a goalless draw scoreline in Mali with an assurance of improved tactical approach to the game. With sports updates, Olumide Eguntola, NTA News.
And that's Panorama today. The production crew appreciates you. Good afternoon.